Number 1 in Southern California, Channel 7 KABC TV, Los Angeles. Now, Paul Moyer, Ann Martin, Dallas Raines, weather, and Todd Donahoe, sports. When news happens, you see it happen on Eyewitness News tonight.
It has been called the most difficult time in the history of the airline industry, and still another carrier files for bankruptcy. Good evening, everybody. It's now 11 o'clock. Phoenix-based America West Airlines tonight filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection from its creditors. The carrier serves 56 cities, including Los Angeles, 735 flights. It employs 15,000 people. They say the reorganization will not affect the passengers or the employees.
In America West, it's business as usual. All tickets are going to be honored. All customers are going to be taken care of.
Well, tonight, America West joins Continental, Pan Am, and Midway in bankruptcy court. All the airlines say that high fuel prices and lower number of passengers is hurting the industry hard. Ironically, this month's issue of Consumer Reports just rated America West tied for second as the best airline in the United States. And
there's not enough people flying to make it count. There is a new lead tonight in the search for a suspect in the tragic murder this week of a young soldier who was being welcomed home from the Persian Gulf. Jeff Michael has a live update, and we go to him right now in Baldwin Park. Jeff.
And I'm standing right in front of the family of Army Private Cesar Gardea, the man who was killed. In fact, he was killed along with his cousin, sitting right here on this wall in front of the house. His cousin, Pablo Paez, 17 years old, and you're right, tonight detectives have their first solid lead in trying to find that killer. The man is described as being a 15 to 16-year-old kid, 5 foot 6 inches tall, a medium build, dark complected. He was clean shaven, and the night he killed these two men, he was wearing a dark Pendleton type shirt buttoned up to the neck. He was one of 3 or 4 driving in a black hatchback, possibly an Isuzu Impulse. And that's when the shots began to ring out, killing 17-year-old Paez, just graduated from high school, going to electronics school, and of course, that's him right there. And then, of course, Private Cesar Gardea, who had just come back after being decorated, serving on the front lines in the Gulf War, the pride of his family. Tonight I spoke with his mother. She is appealing to all parents, to everyone, to please help catch her hero.
I want all the people to hear me, because I'm in very bad pain. And if somebody cares, please help us.
Obviously, she was appealing to catch the killer of her hero, her son, whom she loves so much. Right now, the search is focusing just across the freeway, Paul and Ann, in El Monte, because as these guys drove off, the witnesses heard an El Monte gang slogan being yelled. And I've got to tell both of you, the sheriff's homicide detectives are working overtime on this one. They were here tonight, just left a few moments ago. They say they're getting a lot of help tonight. We just hope they're getting enough help to catch these guys.
Wish it would stop.
Get some
really
results.
Wish it would stop.
Yes, so do I. But, all right, more news tonight. Thanks, Jeff. What started out as an alleged traffic violation in Orange County turned into a wild police chase that didn't end for 45 minutes. As Rick Romero reports tonight, it was a pursuit that involved a stolen car, a kidnapped victim, and finally, the capture.
This red Jaguar has quite a story to tell on why it looks the way it does. Earlier today, it was in San Diego, but a 30-year-old man stole the expensive car after tying up a woman and burglarizing her home. CHP officers spotted the suspect speeding on the I-5 in Orange County and chased him off the freeway, through the El Toro Marine Base and a fence, back onto the freeway, and then watched as he drove the Jag into a semi-truck.
He just runs right underneath my trailer. He tried to do one of them Smokey and the Bandit numbers and go right underneath the trailer. And I spit him out on the other side, and he got a little disorientated and stopped right there in the lane, in the CHP that was chasing him up Interstate 5. Got out with his gun and held him at gunpoint, and the guy just drove off and kept right on going.
The suspect used a .357 Magnum to take 21-year-old Shannon hostage, along with her Honda CRX. Re-entering Interstate 5, the Honda nearly ran a CHP officer off the road, but exited the freeway only to be rammed by that same police officer. The suspect was captured, and Shannon, the hostage, had jumped out of the car earlier while still on the freeway.
So I just said, this is my chance. They're right there. If I'm going to be safe at any time, it's going to be now. I'm just lucky I was in the farthest lane near the road.
Shannon was released from Irvine Medical Center with minor cuts and bruises. The suspect is facing charges of car theft, kidnapping, and assault with intent to do great bodily harm to a police officer, and more from San Diego. In Santa Ana, Rick Romero, Channel 7 Eyewitness News, the Orange County Bureau.
2 L.A. County Sheriff's deputies have been arrested, and they're charged with stealing credit cards from at least 5 drivers during traffic stops. And they're also charged with taking those cards out on a spending spree. At least $18,000 in merchandise has been recovered so far.
And he would go up to the car and talk to the motorist and tell the motorist to empty out the contents of his pockets onto the seat of the car. And at that point, he'd tell the individual to step back behind his car. We did get this information from the people that are our victims, and our investigators basically started their surveillance and led to what has happened today.
The 2 officers who were arrested are 27-year-old Brent Mosley and 31-year-old Stephen Switzer. 5 of Switzer's family members were also picked up. Paul.
It is a decision by one man that is likely to affect many aspects of American life for many years to come. Thurgood Marshall, the Supreme Court's most powerful liberal voice, and its only black in history, announced his retirement today. Marshall, who turns 83 next week and once suffered a heart attack, cited age and health as the reasons for stepping down. One leader from Congress from California had some advice for President Bush in naming Marshall's successor.
If he picks another stealth candidate, like David Souter, whose views remained a mystery throughout his hearings, I doubt that he will get the same easy ride through the confirmation process.
Marshall's departure likely to strengthen the conservatives' 5-4 majority on the court, but according to many people, his departure means more than just a vote majority. Thurgood Marshall's legacy and the future of the Supreme Court are the focus of Nightline tonight, coming up right after the news.
I'm Ted Koppel. Coming up on Nightline, abortion, school prayer, the death penalty, all in the hands of 9 justices, and today the resignation of Thurgood Marshall, the last true liberal on a conservative court. Its immediate impact tonight.
And the very serious situation in Yugoslavia tops the list on our World News Roundup right here. Battles raged at 20 locations in Slovenia as federal troops moved in with tanks and helicopters. Slovenian forces claimed that they destroyed 6 government helicopters and 15 tanks. Up to 100 people believed dead or hurt as Slovenia and Croatia battle for independence from Yugoslavia.
6 Israeli tourists were seized from a houseboat in India by Muslim militants. In a daring escape, an Israeli grabbed the kidnapper's weapon and opened fire. 1 Israeli and 2 militants were killed. Foreigners are being now urged to leave the strife-torn Kashmir area. In northern Iraq, Kurdish rebel leaders have gathered to consider an offer of autonomy from Saddam Hussein. The plan would include free elections throughout Iraq and an autonomous region of Kurdistan. Kurds would have to pledge their loyalty to Iraq and surrender heavy weapons.
And President Bush unveiled his official bust in the Capitol Rotunda. It is an honor that's given to all former vice presidents in their role as Senate leader. The bust will be placed near those of Gerald Ford, Walter Mondale, and Theodore Roosevelt. Mr. President said, "I can't get used to this. I'm not even dead yet." Don't have to be dead, just have to be former VP.
He is. Up next tonight, tomorrow's the big day for Archbishop Mahony. Alex Payne reports from Rome. It is the 12th time, a charm for actress Susan Lucci. The daytime Emmys were handed out tonight. I hope that goes better than I just did. And a graphic warning from the fire department on the dangers of fireworks.
Know which holiday is almost here? Well, the L.A. County Fire Department pulled out all the stops for today's annual fireworks safety appeal. It came complete with a patriotic theme, red, white, and blue helicopter water drops. But the highlight was the explosion of 8 tons of confiscated fireworks. So-called safe and sane fireworks are still legal in a few areas of the county, but not in most. And officials are encouraging people to avoid their own fireworks and go instead to the organized fireworks shows. Sparklers, by the way, have been banned throughout California for this 4th of July. Just too many injuries ascribed to little kids with sparklers.
Yeah, if you have a little one like I do, again, you pay heed to those things because they can get hurt real easy.
Yeah.
You talk about your pot busts, what's being described as the most productive, not to mention sophisticated indoor marijuana nurseries in the nation. Well, it's out of business tonight. Federal agents raided a huge pot farm near Salem, Oregon today. They harvested a bonanza in evidence. Authorities say they confiscated 2,500 marijuana plants, estimated value $6 million, and that's just wholesale. 8 people in custody tonight charged with taking part in the illegal drug operation.
Just a few hours now, and the waiting will be over for LA's Archbishop Mahony. He will get his red hat and become a cardinal of the Roman Catholic Church. Our Alex Payne is on the scene in Vatican City, and tonight he will preview what is certain to be a red-letter day for the Southland's 4 million Catholics.
While it was a normal tourist day outside the Vatican, officials inside were making last-minute preparations for tomorrow's public consistory. The ceremony elevating Los Angeles Archbishop Mahony and 21 others to cardinals. The only other American honored by Pope John Paul II last month is Philadelphia Archbishop Anthony Bevilacqua. Mahony and Bevilacqua have known each other for years.
In 1983, we traveled together in Southeast Asia, visiting refugee camps there, and he was most helpful. The following year, we went to Africa and visited refugee camps there. And he's continued in the work, and I have too.
Archbishop Mahony spent part of his day today at Rome's airport, welcoming his mother and others who have journeyed here for this important event. Despite the hectic past few weeks, the cardinal-elect seemed relaxed.
Still very anxious and anticipating the big day tomorrow.
You're very happy to see your mother here, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm delighted. Yeah, she came through the trip very well.
But it has been a busy week for the Archbishop. Besides greeting family and friends, he's been fitted for his new red and black cassocks, those ankle-length garments worn by priests. He's been in a series of meetings with other bishops and members of the Vatican. And it all culminates here tomorrow morning when he receives his red hat, officially elevating Los Angeles native Roger Mahony as a cardinal in the Roman Catholic Church. Alex Payne, Channel 7 Eyewitness News, Vatican City.
Alex and Henry Alfaro will be covering tomorrow's ceremonies in Rome, and you'll be able to see their reports here on Eyewitness News starting early tomorrow morning at 6:30, and then in the afternoon at 4, 5, and 6, and I dare say we'll have something about it at 11 also.
I think so.
Yeah.
Now, as I was trying to say about Susan Lucci a few moments ago,
Susan
I'm
Lucci.
not very well either, folks. It was another tough night for actress Susan Lucci. She didn't do it. Lucci, who plays Erica Kane on ABC's All My Children, once again failed to win at the daytime Emmy Awards ceremony, which was held tonight in New York. Despite 12 nominations, she has never been awarded an Emmy. But, hey, all wasn't lost for ABC. Lucci was beaten out in the Best Daytime Actress category by General Hospital's Finola Hughes. You know, when she finally wins, it's not going to be the same.
No, I'm sure that the fact that someone else got it makes her feel much better, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I don't
sure
think so
it does.
at all.
I think she wants to win a lot.
I'm sure she does. But like you say, it
won't be the same.
We won't be able to talk about it anymore. Dallas Rain says that it might rain again tomorrow. We find that hard to believe here in summer, but it's true, and he's next.
Supposed to be a movie so off the wall, even the title is funny. Naked Gun, 2.5, The Smell of Fear. Tonight, the sequel celebrated its world premiere in Westwood, and all the crew showed up, including co-stars Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley, George Kennedy, and O.J. Simpson. Proceeds went to benefit the environmental movement. With Nielsen, it's got to be funny.
It's got to be funny. He made a whole new career, didn't he, out of these movies?
He's a genuinely funny man anyway. In person, he really is.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Well, I hope the movie does well. Rain again tomorrow?
It's a chance. It's a chance, Annie. Not much.
Wow.
But today we had 0.04 of an inch. It doesn't sound like much, does it?
Tiny,
but
tiny,
when it
tiny.
rains in late June, that's a lot. And that's what we had this morning, and we had great air quality today, too. And it's going to warm up, folks. You just got to hang on until about Sunday. Partly cloudy now, 62 tonight, 11 o'clock. There is another band of clouds coming in. Be here early tomorrow morning. Take a look at the air quality chart for tomorrow. Well, this is the high temperature chart. First of all, 75 at San Gabriel Valley. There's that 0.04 of an inch of rain. Not much, but just about everybody picked up a little bit of rain today. 97 Palm Springs. Of course, that was the warmest. There's the old air quality chart, and it is fantastic. A lot of blue on the chart tomorrow, and that is in the good range all across the area as we continue with a very unusual situation with the weather. Here's a satellite view tonight, and you can see this low is the one that came through this morning and is now moving on into the Rockies. Here's another little circulation right here, just offshore. This one will push through. Now, cloud tops tonight are only about 12,000 feet, so that's not big, but we could have a little drizzle early tomorrow morning. Most of the rain tonight in the northern section of California. Dolores has just about had it. She was a pretty strong tropical storm and a hurricane for a while, but the circulation's very weak now off of Baja. Won't even give us any decent surf at all. Here's our forecast for tonight. And we are forecasting for the surf
I think we're out of time, so we need to go. There we go. All right. The Huntington Pier looking at 2 to 3 feet. Newport Beach 2 to 3. South Bay 1 to 2. So not a whole lot of surf out there for you for tomorrow. Variable clouds tonight 59, and Annie, a chance of light rain tomorrow morning 74. Temperatures around the area tomorrow will be on the cool side. 68 beaches, San Fernando Valley about 77. So you should see more sun there. 84 in the high desert. 5-day outlook. Partly cloudy skies on Saturday and Sunday, and warmer toward the first of next week with a high of about 80 degrees.
Somebody give you a speed up, did they?
We had to move, didn't we?
I was trying to get all our mountains in at one time.
We got to hustle here. Rick Lozano, got to make room for Rick. The Reds pick up some ground on the Dodgers tonight, and a warning from Lyle Alzado. He blames steroids for causing his brain cancer.
Rick Lozano's here with us with sports. A warning, I guess, to a lot of athletes and others that take steroids.
Yeah, absolutely. And this easily the story that dominated sports today. He's a man 1,000 and more youngsters dreamed to be like. But today, former Raiders defensive lineman Lyle Alzado describes himself as only half the man he used to be.
Alzado says that last summer, when he attempted a comeback at age 41, he resumed his use of steroids, which he had done for all of his NFL career. Only this time, he says the steroids ruined his immune system. Today, Alzado has inoperable brain cancer. He's lost 60 pounds, suffers dizzy spells, and slurred speech from his chemotherapy. Now, this story is frighteningly similar to that of former Pittsburgh Steelers lineman Steve Courson, who says steroid use for him has resulted in coronary problems, so much so that he needs a heart transplant.
It's at the point now, I believe, that unless you're an athlete of superior ability and superior genetics, that you cannot compete in the line of scrimmage, and you face extinction in the line of scrimmage unless you travel the chemical pathway.
Now, both Courson and Alzado want their messages to get through to young people. But are they? Just today, a jury convicted a Pennsylvania doctor on 12 counts of distributing steroids. One of the men he gave them to is ex-World Wrestling Federation champion superstar Billy Graham, who, as you see, needs a cane to get around. Graham says 95% of pro wrestlers use steroids. Alzado says when he played pro football, 75% of the workforce used some sort of performance-enhancing drug. It's come back to haunt his life. He says if you let it, it'll haunt yours, too.
While Alzado continues treatment. At Wimbledon, they just can't catch a break. They suffered through more of the same today. There were 4 rain delays before officials decided to push it back again until tomorrow. Now, the weather didn't stop Andre Agassi from changing his image by changing his clothes. He gave in to tradition, left his fluorescent colors at home, went for the whites on the court. Wasn't long before the whites got smudged. Andre facing Grant Cornell of Canada, and watch this, get ready for that Clorox, too. Yes, sir. They'll continue tied tomorrow at 1 set apiece. In the meantime, Stefan Edberg, the top seed, finally finished his first-round match, knocking off Mark Rosset of Switzerland in a match that began on Monday. Thank you, Mother Nature. The overhead smash here on his way to the win in straight sets. A travel day for the Dodgers. They open a road trip in Atlanta tomorrow, and suddenly the lead in the NL West is down to 3.5 games. At Riverfront today, Barry Larkin was 1 red-hot red. This, the second of his 2 dingers on today. He accounted for all the offense, knocking in all 3 runs. Reds creep up on the Dodgers with a 3-zip win over the Pods. Light up the board for you. St. Louis doubles up on Philly. New York shades the Expos. The Bucks remain 3.5 ahead of the pack in the NL East, and Atlanta blanks Houston. Angels had the night off, but still picked up ground on the Twins. Great defense in this game. Pags, Mike Pagliarulo, the diving stop at third, and then throws out the Jays' John Olerud. Now, what a way to lose a game. Rance Mulliniks with a can of corn to Shane Mack. You know what? It's a Mack attack. He drops the ball, then he misses the relay man. Kelly Gruber scores, and the Jays go on to win it 1-0. So, the Twins lose the game to the now third-place Texas Rangers, who beat Oakland. A's dropped to 4th place. Twins 5-2 over Seattle. New York blanks Boston. The Indians trade Tom Candiotti to Toronto, then lose to Baltimore. And Milwaukee tripled the count on Detroit. In boxing, Tyson Ruddock 2 is on tap tomorrow night in Vegas. This evening, Tommy the Duke Morrison tuned up for bigger and better things ahead of the fight. So lopsided, his opponent doesn't deserve to have his name mentioned, so he won't. It was pathetic. Morrison, is he sweating yet? Less than 2 minutes in, 3 knockdowns, that's it. Tommy Gunn still unbeaten. And finally, still with boxing, you know, the toughest job of the ring probably belongs to the ref. Well, during tonight's card in Vegas, keep your eye on the third man in the ring, and as the knockout occurs, put yourself in his place. Now remember, you're on stage, and there's no place to hide. It was a knockout, but it was also a split decision. No buts about it. What a place to be. What a time to be there. That's it. See you tomorrow. Okay.
We're stunned. Thanks.
Dinger. Another word for home run.
What's a can
dinger.
of corn?
Can of corn's an easy fly ball.
Oh, okay.
What's a dinger? A home run, I guess.
I